Have you ever met someone who felt like a missing piece, so intense, so magnetic that it seemed the universe meant for your paths to cross? And yet, despite the depth of connection, the timing is off, circumstances don't align, or something within you just knows this can't work. It's confusing, even painful. But what if that experience wasn't a mistake? What if the universe sends you someone you can't be with, not to frustrate you but to awaken something within? Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that every encounter carries a message from the unconscious, especially the ones that shake us to our core. Jung would say that when someone enters your life and stirs up deep longing, unresolved emotion, or even a kind of inner chaos, they may not be your soulmate but a mirror, a living symbol of the parts of you that long to be seen, felt, or integrated. Think of it like this. Imagine you're walking through a forest and stumble upon a locked chest buried in the ground. You don't have the key, but the chest is clearly yours. The person you can't be with? They are the key-shaped shadow, not the key itself, but the shape that reminds you what's still buried, locked away, unfinished inside your soul. In this video, we'll dive into Carl Jung's powerful teachings to uncover why we attract the people we can't have, what this means about our psychological growth, and how these seemingly impossible relationships may be necessary catalysts for inner transformation. We'll explore the concept of the anima and animus, projection, the shadow, and how the soul uses relationship tension as a tool for individuation, the process of becoming your true self. So if you've ever asked, why would the universe send me someone I can't keep? This video is for you. Before we begin, hit that like button, subscribe for more Jungian psychology, and share your story in the comments. Have you ever loved someone you couldn't be with? What did that experience awaken in you? Let's explore this journey together, because sometimes what breaks our hearts also opens our eyes. It's a kind of heartbreak that words often fail to contain. Imagine encountering someone who doesn't just capture your attention, but seems to awaken every cell in your body. Someone whose presence feels like a homecoming, even if you've only just met. They speak the silent language of your dreams, intuitively understand the parts of you that you've never shared with anyone else. Their existence alone seems to touch a nerve you didn't know you had. And yet, despite the depth, the synchronicity, the aching rightness of it all, you must walk away. That kind of pain is exquisite. It's not chaotic or messy, it's precise, as if crafted by the hand of something far beyond human comprehension. It feels almost intentional, like the universe didn't place this person in your life to give you what you desire, but to show you something far more enduring and transformative, a glimpse of who you are truly meant to become. Carl Jung, the pioneering Swiss psychologist who charted the deep hidden terrain of the human psyche, believed that nothing in our emotional world is accidental. Every encounter, especially those that seem fated or charged with intensity, carries meaning beyond what the rational mind can comprehend. To Jung, such meetings are invitations not to possession or romance in the conventional sense, but to awakening. When you meet someone you cannot be with, someone who stirs your soul and then slips beyond your grasp, it isn't a punishment. It's not cosmic cruelty. It's the soul's way of cracking you open. Jung might say this is an archetypal event, a moment when your unconscious uses another person as a symbol, a living mirror, a catalyst. This is not about love stories. This is about soul stories. Think for a moment of that person, the one who appeared like lightning across your sky, sudden and bright, revealing entire landscapes within you that were previously cloaked in darkness. Perhaps they were already in a committed relationship. Perhaps the timing was impossibly wrong. Perhaps distance, religion, age, or circumstance made the connection impractical or forbidden. Or maybe they were never meant to be your lover at all, but rather your teacher. The rational mind tries to solve it like a puzzle. Why now? Why not? But Jung would urge you to listen in a different way, to speak not in logic, but in the symbolic language of the soul. The unconscious doesn't speak in linear explanations. It speaks in dreams, images, and meaningful coincidences, what Jung called synchronicities. And the most charged, soul-shaking connections are rarely about the other person. They are about what that person reflects in you. When you meet someone you cannot have, you are not simply meeting another person, you are encountering a version of yourself long buried and forgotten. They mirror back to you qualities and potentials you may have disowned. Your capacity for passion, for depth, for vulnerability, for wild creativity or daring freedom. These parts have been waiting silently in the wings of your psyche, longing to be remembered. That person becomes the container for your unlived life. This is what Jung called projection, the unconscious act of placing parts of ourselves onto others. But this isn't about projecting your shadow or your wounds. It's about projecting your light, the radiant, untapped aspects of your soul that you haven't yet owned. You don't long for them as much as you long for what they awaken in you. They're not showing you what you lack, they're showing you what is already within you, but unexpressed. And so the pull you feel, the magnetic ache, isn't just for the person. It's for the version of yourself you glimpse when you're around them. This is why such encounters feel sacred. They bypass the social mask, the ego's defenses, and go straight to something older, wiser, more primal. And when that connection ends or never fully begins, the pain is not just loss. It's recognition without possession. The soul cries not because it cannot have the other, but because it caught a glimpse of itself and now must live without that mirror. But here's the gift, hidden in the ache. You now know what's possible. You felt the depth, the aliveness, the burning truth of being utterly seen. And if you let it, this heartbreak can become the flame that forges a more authentic life. The person you cannot be with is not your destination, they are your initiation. The love that breaks you open isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to destroy the lies you believed about yourself. The belief that you can't feel that deeply. The belief that you're not worthy of being understood. The belief that life is meant to be safe and predictable. That love is always reciprocal, or that timing can't be tragic. No. This love shows you the truth and then asks you to walk away, holding that truth like a sacred ember. The lesson is not about how to win them back. It's not about regret or longing. It's about asking, what part of me came alive through them? What am I now called to awaken within myself? For some, it might be the courage to write, to sing, to speak out. For others, it might be the realization that your life has grown too small for your soul. For still others, it might be the deep spiritual knowing that you are meant for more than roles, rules, or routines, are meant for depth. As Jung once wrote, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And perhaps that's the real task here. This connection wasn't meant to complete you. It was meant to reveal you. The you that's been asleep. The you that dreams. The you that aches to create, to connect, to feel everything and hide nothing. When we ask, why would the universe bring me someone I cannot keep? We're asking the wrong question. The better question is, what was this person here to awaken in me, and am I brave enough to become it? Because once you've glimpsed your soul in another's eyes, you can never go back to living half asleep. You have a choice now, to mourn what could not be or to become who you were shown you could be. This is not just heartbreak. It's transformation. It is your soul whispering, now that you've seen what's possible, don't you dare settle for less. Jung understood that the most powerful experiences in our lives often come disguised as losses. What feels like a cruel twist of fate is often, in truth, the beginning of something far more profound, an awakening. The person you cannot be with, the one who appeared suddenly, ignited your soul, and then slipped through your fingers, did not come into your life to stay. They came to open something in you that had long been sealed shut. Perhaps it had been dormant for years. Perhaps, in the language of the soul, it had been asleep for lifetimes. This person didn't just stir feelings. They cracked open a capacity for emotional depth that you had almost forgotten you possessed. A part of your psyche, once silent, now speaks in poetry. A chamber in your heart that had long been locked is suddenly filled with music, aching and beautiful. They reminded you that you are capable of a love that transcends the ordinary. a love that exists outside the boundaries of possession, control, or even physical closeness. It is not the kind of love that seeks to hold, it is the kind that awakens. And that is the point. This awakening is not meant to torture you. It is meant to liberate you from the smaller version of yourself you had unknowingly settled into. Before this person entered your life, you may have been living on the surface of your own emotional experience. You may have been moving through love like a script, performing connection, speaking the right lines, smiling at the right times, but never truly feeling the full aliveness of it all. You may have been surviving on comfort, on safety, on predictability, choosing relationships that made sense rather than ones that made soul. Then this person appeared. Suddenly, you understood the difference between loving someone and being in love with the mystery of existence itself. They became a portal one you didn't ask for, and perhaps didn't even want, but once you stepped through, everything changed. They showed you that love is not merely an emotion, but a state of being. Not just a feeling, but a way of seeing, a way of touching reality with reverence, awe, and unbearable presence. The breaking open was necessary, because the self you were before you met them was not large enough, not deep enough, not spacious enough to contain the magnitude of what your soul is capable of experiencing. Your heart had to break not from weakness, but from expansion. The walls had to fall so something truer could emerge. In this sense, the pain is not a wound, it's a birth. But birth, like all growth, is inherently painful. Just as the caterpillar must dissolve completely to become a butterfly, you had to dissolve parts of your old self, old defenses, old narratives, old fears. The quiet numbness that you once mistook for peace had to be shattered. You could no longer pretend that surface living was enough. You had tasted something eternal. Jung believed that our deepest wounds often become our greatest sources of wisdom and power. The person who broke you open wasn't the cause of your pain, they were the mirror that revealed the pain already within you. Old grief, long buried. Old beliefs that told you love wasn't safe, or real, or possible. Old scars you learned to live with, but never dared to heal. Maybe you closed your heart long ago. Maybe you told yourself that deep connection was a fantasy. Maybe you convinced yourself to settle for stability, for predictability, for relationships that were good enough. Then they arrived. And without warning, the walls you had so carefully built came crashing down. You were forced to confront the truth. You want more. You want real. You want holy. You want the kind of love that makes you feel like you're standing at the edge of a vast, unknowable ocean with nothing but your soul exposed. And here's the paradox. The very person who showed you this love is also the one you cannot have. But this is not punishment. This is invitation. You are not being denied something. You are being shown what you're capable of feeling and challenged to live from that place, even without them. The love that breaks you open is the same love that redefines your understanding of love itself. You begin to realize love is not about ownership, not about security, not about getting your needs met or having your desires fulfilled in neat, manageable packages. Love, in its truest form, is about recognition. It's about touching and being touched by the sacred mystery of another being. It's about presence, not possession. The person you cannot be with has given you a glimpse of what it means to love without needing to have. They have shown you the purity of connection with no agenda. The profound aliveness of seeing and being seen, without scripts, without masks, without guarantees. They have shown you that love is not something you hold, it's something that moves through you, changes you, expands you. This is terrifying, because it leaves you with no ground beneath your feet. It asks you to love like the mystics love, with total surrender to the moment, with no promise of permanence. It calls you to let go, not out of indifference, but out of reverence. Because the sacred cannot be possessed. It can only be witnessed. The person who broke you open is not your forever. They are your mirror, radiant, soul-altering glimpse of the parts of yourself you forgot or never fully developed. Jung's concept of anima and animus, the inner feminine in men and the inner masculine in women, helps illuminate why this recognition can feel so intense. When we meet someone who awakens us like this, we're not just falling in love with them. We are falling in love with a part of ourselves that they represent, a piece of our inner wholeness, made visible in human form. They embody something you are being called to integrate. That wild creativity, that fierce honesty, that quiet grace, that sensual intensity. It's not just who they are. It's who you are when you stop hiding. So mourn them. Grieve what cannot be. But don't let the story end there. Let their memory become a guidepost not toward them, but toward yourself. Because this love, this heartbreak, this awakening, it was never really about them. It was about you. And now that you've been broken open, the only question left is, will you become the person they awakened within you? They represent potentials within yourself that are trying to emerge into consciousness. The reason their presence haunts you, the reason they seem so radiant, so compelling, so alive, is because they embody something you've forgotten how to live within yourself. The creative passion they express so freely mirrors your own unexpressed creativity. The boldness in their voice, the fire in their eyes, the way they take up space without apology, these are not qualities foreign to you. They are familiar. Familiar not because you've expressed them, but because deep down, you know they are part of who you could be. Carl Jung called this projection, when we unconsciously assign parts of our inner world onto people in our outer world. Most often, we project our shadow, those repressed fears, desires, and wounds we refuse to acknowledge. But there is another, less discussed form of projection. We also project our light, our unclaimed brilliance, our buried power, our sleeping beauty. The confidence they radiate, the purpose they walk with, the authenticity they exude, all of it strikes a chord within you, not because it's foreign, but because it's dormant. Their presence stirs something ancient and electric inside you. They show you what it looks like when someone fully inhabits their own life. And the ache you feel? That ache is not just longing for them. It is longing for you. For the version of you that's still waiting in the wings, waiting for permission to step into the light. The mistake most people make is believing they need this person in order to access these qualities. They assume that being with this person will unlock the parts of themselves they see reflected in them. But Jung would say, this is backward. You do not want to be with this person because they complete you. You want to be with them because they mirror you. They are reflecting back to you the unlived life you are meant to claim. The love, the boldness, the clarity, the creativity, it all already exists within you. You are not missing anything. You are simply asleep to what you possess. Your task, then, is not to possess them. Your task is to develop the qualities they reflect. The intensity of your attraction to them is your soul's way of pointing you toward the future version of yourself that is trying to be born. This person is not your missing piece. They are your mirror, a sacred, painful, beautiful reminder of everything that has been waiting for you within yourself. And often, the reason you cannot be with them, why the relationship won't work, why the timing is off, why something always seems to stand in the way, is because you are not yet ready to be with yourself in this fuller, more integrated way. The universe is not keeping you apart to punish you. It is giving you space to grow. It is allowing you time to become the person who is capable of the kind of love you glimpsed in their presence. Think about the qualities that drew you to this person. Make a list. The passion in their voice, the freedom in their spirit, the courage in their truth, the comfort they have in their own skin, the unapologetic way they live their life. Now ask yourself, where in my life am I called to embody these same qualities? The passion, where am I holding back? The courage, what in my life requires more boldness? The authenticity, what parts of myself have I hidden to feel accepted? The comfort in their own skin, what would it take for me to inhabit my own life as fully? This person appeared not as a lover, but as a teacher, a soul guide in disguise. They did not come to give you what you want. They came to awaken you to what you are capable of. The longing you feel is not just for their presence. It is for the fuller expression of yourself that their presence made undeniable. The love you feel for them is not misplaced, is sacred. But it is not really about them. It is about your own becoming. Jung believed in a lifelong process called individuation, the unfolding of the self into wholeness. This process is often catalyzed not through success or comfort, but through encounters with people who activate forgotten or disowned aspects of our psyche. These encounters are not accidents. They are orchestrated by the unconscious. The people we cannot have often play a crucial role in our evolution. They show us what's missing not externally, but internally. The pain of not being able to be with them is actually the pain of realizing how much of yourself you have been hiding. It is the ache of awakening, the burn of birth, the mourning of a smaller self giving way to something larger, more authentic. So instead of focusing on what you cannot have with this person, shift your attention to what you can become because of having met them. They have given you a gift far more precious than any relationship could provide. They have shown you a glimpse of your true self. It's now your responsibility to honor that gift, not by chasing them, but by doing the work of becoming. Becoming the artist. Becoming the lover. Becoming the truth speaker. Becoming the whole, radiant being that you now know you are capable of being. The relationship you thought you wanted with them was actually a relationship you need to have with yourself. The connection you experienced with them was actually a connection with your own potential, a part of you that was waiting to be seen, to be loved, to be lived. They were never meant to be your destination. They were the signpost pointing you back toward your own soul. They came to awaken you from the sleep of ordinary living, to shake you out of the safe numbness that keeps so many people trapped in lives that are too small for their spirits. Their presence jolted you into awareness, cracked the shell you didn't know you were living inside. Jung understood that the psyche has its own wisdom, its own timing, its own divine agenda. Sometimes, it sends you people who cannot stay, not to punish you, but to break open a door that would have otherwise remained closed. These people are not detours. They are activators. They are mirrors. They are messages from the deepest parts of yourself, urging you to remember who you really are. Before they came, you may have accepted a duller life. You may have told yourself that deep passion, profound connection, or transformative love were luxuries for other people. You may have buried your longings in the name of practicality or fear. But now you know. Now you've seen. And once you see, you cannot unsee. They didn't complete you. They revealed you. And now your soul is asking, will you complete yourself? But not alive. Acceptable, but not authentic. Functional, but not fully expressed. And then this person walked into your life, and everything changed. Suddenly, you remembered what it felt like to be fully alive, fully present, fully engaged with the mystery of existence. You remembered that you are capable of feelings that transcend the ordinary, connections that defy explanation, love that transforms everything it touches. They reminded you that you are not just a collection of roles and responsibilities, fears, and limitations. You are a soul having a human experience, and that soul is far more magnificent than you had allowed yourself to believe. The awakening they triggered within you is not just about love or relationships. It is about remembering who you truly are, beneath all the layers of conditioning, expectation, and self-doubt that have accumulated over the years. They have shown you that you are capable of being passionate, creative, courageous, authentic, and alive in ways you had forgotten or never fully known. This awakening is not meant to be dependent on their presence in your life. It is meant to be integrated into your being, so that you can carry it forward into everything you do. Jung believed that certain encounters are destined not in the sense of fate or predetermined outcomes, but in the sense that they are necessary for the evolution of consciousness. Your soul called this person into your life because it was ready for the next stage of your development, and you had reached the limits of who you could become within the confines of your old way of being. This person appeared to break those confines, open to show you that you are capable of so much more than you had imagined. The reason you cannot be with them is often because the work they came to do is complete. They have awakened you to your own potential, shown you what you are capable of feeling and being. Now it is time for you to take responsibility for that awakening to integrate it into your daily life, to become the person they helped you remember you could be. If you were to be with them now, you might be tempted to remain dependent on them for this feeling of aliveness rather than claiming it as your own. The universe operates through a kind of perfect intelligence that our rational minds cannot always comprehend. Sometimes what appears to be a loss or a disappointment is actually a graduation, a promotion to the next level of your spiritual development. The person you cannot be with has done their job. They have awakened you to your own magnificence. Now it is time for you to honor that awakening by living it, by embodying it, by expressing it in every area of your life. This does not mean forgetting them or pretending they do not matter. It means understanding that they matter in a way that transcends the personal, that their impact on your life is bigger than any relationship could contain. They have become part of your inner landscape, a permanent reminder of what you are capable of when you are fully alive and authentic. They have awakened you to a way of being that you can now bring to every encounter, every relationship, every moment of your life. The love you feel for them has taught you how to love yourself, how to recognize and honor the magnificent being that you are. The passion they ignited within you has shown you what it means to be fully engaged with life. The connection you experienced with them has reminded you that you are capable of profound intimacy with existence itself. These gifts are yours to keep, regardless of whether they remain in your life. They came to awaken you one day, they have succeeded. Now the question is, what will you do with this awakening? How will you honor the transformation they have catalyzed within you? How will you live in a way that reflects the magnitude of what you have discovered about yourself through knowing them? The answer to these questions will determine whether their presence in your life was just a beautiful memory or a genuine transformation that changes everything about how you move through the world. The person you cannot be with is giving you the greatest gift possible. They've reminded you who you truly are. Now it is time to become that person fully and completely, whether they are there to witness it or not.